Hello and welcome to another episode of Pearls of Parmadice. My name is Courtney and I'm coming to you from Parma, Ohio, where I live with my husband Mason and all of our yarn. Today is Friday, August 29th, and I am so glad that you're joining me for a probably short episode, just chatting about knitting, and I have a little bit of sewing and a teensy bit of embroidery, just all the cozy crafty chat. So grab something to drink or something to work on, and let's chat about all the crafty, fibery things. You can find me at various places all over the internet. That's all linked down below, as well as everything that I talk about in this podcast should be linked down below. As always, if I missed anything, please feel free to drop a comment and let me know, and I will add that for you if I can. All right, let's see. Well, welcome if you're new, or if you're returning, a huge welcome. I'm really glad you're here. All the usual YouTube, like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff really helps the channel. I don't know if it's the time of year or what, but I don't know. I feel like all of a sudden, I don't know, doesn't matter. But it seems like YouTube isn't showing people my videos or something. I don't really know. I don't know how all that works. It's just for fun anyway, but I'd appreciate a little love down below. Giant mini mail, if you're new, that's our year-long make-along. This is the second year that we've done that. Basically, use your minis, use your scraps, use one, use a ton, whatever, doesn't matter. We consider a mini or scrap anything that when you began was under 50 grams. All the rules are in the Ravelry group. That's where you can submit your entries in the finished object thread over there. All that's linked down below. If for some reason Ravelry is not accessible to you, just let me know and we will figure out a way to get your project entered. All right. I think that's all the admin stuff. I don't really have much else. Today I've got 2 finished objects, 2 whips that I thought were going to be finished objects, and they will be by the end of the weekend. One sewing thing and like this much embroidery. So we'll just get into it. I guess I'll talk about what I'm wearing. So I'm wearing long sleeves today. The temperature has dropped in Parmadice. Your girl is so happy about it. This was a hot summer. So many 90-degree days, so many days in the high 80s. And Northeast Ohio tends to be very, very humid. We're right on Lake Erie, so lots of humidity, made for kind of an uncomfortable summer. But I felt like my body handled the heat better than normal. So maybe because it just got hot and just stayed hot. I don't know. But today the high is 64 degrees and I am so happy. I've been able to wear some of my short sleeve knits, but today I've got my Autumn League pullover, which is by 2 of Wands. It is an amazing pattern. I kind of want to knit myself another one. I love this little X thing detail. It's a nice raglan. This was probably my most worn piece last year. And I think I finished it in like late May, so I didn't even get a chance to really wear it until last fall. And I wore it so much during the last cool season, and I can't wait to wear it all this cool season. It's so sweatshirty, it's so comfy. The yarn is the recommended yarn in the pattern, which is Lyons brand cotton jeans, I think. It's the recommended yarn, and I don't know what the colorway is, probably just gray heather. Is it gray heather? Something like that. Anyways, it's super comfy if you're looking for a good comfy sweater, especially since this is cotton. It doesn't get too warm, so it's a good transitional sweater. So if you're looking for one of those, this pattern, you should knit this. All right, so that is what I'm wearing. Let's talk finished objects. I don't have either of them. Both of them were pieces that I knit for someone else. So we'll talk about the one that I have discussed with you all most recently. And that is the Nesting Diamond Shrug. And I'm going to pop in some very poorly lit finished object photos here. I knit this for the Patterns by Patty Lyons. And I knit this for a friend of mine whose niece is getting married in Florida in October. And I don't know. I thought the wedding was like late October or early November. Turns out it's like the first week of October. So I decided that I wanted to hurry up and knit that up for her. That way, if it didn't fit or it needed modified or anything like that, or if I messed up or whatever, like that there was time to do something about it. And it fits her really well, I think. She tried it on at work, but the shirt that she wore to work that day didn't really would not be a shirt that you would wear this top. So it was a little bit difficult to tell for sure, but she assured me that it fits well. She said her cat has really enjoyed laying on it and has decided that it's hers, which is fine. Yeah, loved this pattern. Absolutely loved knitting it. It knit up so fast. I don't know how many days worth of work I put in on this, but I knit half of it in a single day. I know that. The second half I did in a single day. I think I only worked on this for a total of 3 or 4 days. So very quick. The yarn I used was Knit Picks Twill in the colorway Rosewater Heather. And I kind of love it. I did try it on before we washed and blocked it. And I kind of want to make myself one in a different color, maybe like a navy. I don't know. But I do see one of these in my future. The downside to the pattern is there are only 3 sizes. I don't want to give too much away because it is a paid for pattern. I think it was like $6 US. And I believe I knit it. I know I knit it on the recommended needle size, which I believe is a size US 8. There are only 3 sizes, which is a bummer. It's not the most size inclusive. I do think that it would be pretty easily modifiable. I think you would just add or reduce the number of lace repeats and your number of stitches casting on. But still, like, I believe it's an older pattern, but it'd be nice to get an update with better sizing. And the other thing about this pattern, it is knit cuff to cuff. So it's really hard, and that it's really hard to gauge if it like is gonna fit. I don't know, because you can't really try it on. I don't know. So I did find that piece of this challenging, especially knitting it for someone else. That was a little bit of a challenge, but she likes it. I did knit the largest size. She is quite a bit smaller than me, but she wanted a lot of extra room on when I tried it on pre-blocking. So it would probably fit a little more loosely. It definitely grew. It fit pretty snugly like a little Shrug would. But I liked it. I liked the fit. I thought it was really cute. So that is the Nesting Diamond Shrug. Very glad to get that done and to know we were successful. And she has that now to wear to the wedding. The second piece that I finished was a pair of mitts that I don't think you guys have seen since like April. They are the Point Edwards mitts by Fairlight Fibers. I knit a different pair of these back in January using up leftovers. Great scrappy project, by the way, for a pair for my husband. And my brother has wanted a pair. He had bought this yarn at a yarn show for me to make him something last year, and we landed on mitts. But as if you've been watching for a while, you'll know that my grandpa passed away back in March, and I started these essentially while all of that was going on, and I just couldn't knit on them for a really long time. Every time I tried, I was too sad. I just couldn't do it. But I knew he slept over last weekend. I knew he was coming over, and I really wanted to have these mitts finished up for him as the cooler season approaches. I know he'll want them. So I decided that I was going to try. And I pulled them out and I could do it. So that was really good. I think they turned out great. The yarn is, I'm probably going to mispronounce this, a Fibrelia Marvelous Barnabas in the colorway Shamrock. The photo where he is holding the Switch 2 controller is the most accurate color depiction that the camera was able to get. When they were side by side flat, it just didn't pick the colors up well. He loves them. He was going for a Jurassic Park kind of theme, but we both decided that the yarn knit up really reminded us of Minecraft, which I think is perfectly appropriate. He plays that too. So that was really cool. I love this pattern. It is a single size. So I did modify the mitts for my husband and then did my brother's mitts almost exactly the same, except that he wanted a shorter cuff. So it's very easily modifiable. I just did an extra increase in like repeat kind of deal in the thumb area, and then adjusted the ribbing both at the top and the bottom to their liking. I really, really want to knit a pair of these for myself. I know I have plenty of like single skeins of random DK yarn that I don't know what to do with, and this would be the perfect project. Or maybe even do, I don't know, something with some leftovers or minis, or I don't know, but I really want to knit myself a pair. So Point Edwards mitts, Fairlight fibers, and we'll move on to whips. Told you guys it's going to be a short one today. Not because I haven't done a lot of knitting. I have knit so much, but I've just kind of been knitting on things because August, we're finishing stuff. So far, I have finished 4 things in August. I am on track to finish 6. I really thought I had planned for this to be a finished object, and it just, do you guys ever have like weeks where you look back at your week and like, I work full time outside of my home, not really very close to home. So I've got work and my commute and stuff, and sometimes, all of that. And then you come home and I make dinner and everything. And sometimes in the evening I have all this time, and then other times I just don't. And I have no idea where the time went. And I feel like I have no idea where my time went this week. None whatsoever. So I really had planned to have this done. Hopefully I'm not. Okay, good. I thought I might be in the middle of a row, but I am not. So that's great. This is my, oh my goodness, Wild at Heart shawl. And this is a free pattern by Meghan Macko. I am so close to being done. I have like 5 more rows and the bind off. And then I need to block it. That's it. I knit on this so much. It is so pretty. The yarn is Alaskan Yarn Co. Their sock yarn in the colorway Candy Bowl. There we go. Isn't this gorgeous? I love how the colors are turning out. I feel like now you can really see the colors. It's pulled a tiny, tiny bit in certain places. But I knit from this sheep all the way this way. So this portion of the shawl, which I think is a lot of knitting. I think that's pretty good. And it's just really, really a pretty pattern. It's hard to see. I'm hoping these open up, but there's this eyelet kind of pattern, like eyelet stitch pattern. There's little eyelet rows in the midst of garter. You could do this in a solid or a tonal or something and probably see that stitch pattern better. But I also think it looks stunning in a variegated like this. I think it's really, really fun. I don't know, up here you can see it a little better. I think that got more light colors and this one got more dark. But I think once it blocks and that opens up, you'll be able to see it better. This is I think I might have mentioned this, I don't know, but it's a free pattern. On Ravelry, I'm pretty sure it's free. And it has been so much fun to knit. It is a delight. It's a great single skein kind of project. We all have those single skeins that are just like so pretty that we bought and then sit in the stash because they don't go with anything or we don't know what to do with them. This is a great project for that. And my parents bought me the yarn when they went to Alaska last year on Labor Day weekend. So I think it would be really fitting if I was able to finish this weekend, since it's Labor Day weekend in the United States where I live. So that is my goal. I am so close. Next time you will be seeing this as a finished object. I cannot wait to do August stats next month. I thought about putting off this podcast for a few days, just because I'm like really excited to see how much yarn I used up in August. I'm finishing so much. So there's that. And this is in my Galliana Creations bag with the little sheepies with flowers. And that's the other reason I want to finish this up. I think it's time to switch to fall bags. I'm ready for fall. I know technically it doesn't start for a few more weeks, but it started in my heart, so we're going with it. And if you are somebody who doesn't like that, that's okay. You can do you, but I'm starting fall for me. All right, last but not least, another one that I thought I would have done, and then I don't know. Maybe I'm scrolling on my phone too much. I don't know. Who knows? My husband says we talk too much, and that's the problem, but it's okay. So I had this lovely, beautiful sock finished up last week, and I believe this might be a lie. I think I had the cuff cast on for the other one, but I may not have. I actually don't remember. But I've got our ghosty. He's moved to where I started working on this sock this week. And I managed to I am like halfway through the foot. So this one should also be a finished object my goal is to have this and the shawl done by the end of the day on Sunday so that I can count them as finished objects in August. And I think that's more than doable. I mean, yesterday I knit the bulk of the heel, the gusset, and the foot, and I still worked a full day. So I think it's doable. I just need to sit down with these two projects and give them a few hours each of focus, and I think they'll be done. And these are just my vanilla socks. It's just my own kind of cobbled together from a bunch of sock patterns thing that works best for me. So I cuff down 2x2 rib, US 1.5 needle. I do 16 rows for the cuff. 60 rounds for the leg, heel flap and gusset, slip stitch heel, 76 rounds for the foot total, including the gusset, and this toe that a wedge toe? I'm pretty sure it's a wedge toe. Whatever. My typical, just what works for me, my perfect vanilla sock. That's all I've got for the knitting. Future plans. I am planning on casting on September 1st. If I get these two projects done, as my reward, I'm going to let myself finally cast on my flax sweater by Tin Can Knits. I have had the yarn set aside for that for, I think, since last year, maybe the year before. Last year, I knit my husband a flax. And he wore it so much last season, and I was just really jealous. And I had bought yarn for myself too, so it'll be the same yarn in a different colorway. Lyons brand, fisherman's wool, and I think his was just brown. I think mine might be natural, or oatmeal or something like that. So I'm excited to cast that on. I am itching to cast on a warm woolly sweater. And then I did decide on a cast on already for the autumnal equinox, but I didn't want to wait to do a cast on till then. So this will be my cast on to hold me over. And then I'm not going to say too much about my autumnal equinox cast on. We'll probably talk about that next time, but it will be a super bulky, I think, cowl. So should be a quick, cozy, fun project, but I'll get more into that next time. All right, let's move on to sewing. I know this is a quick one today, and my videos have been shorter, but I have so much to accomplish today that I want to accomplish. And one of those things is, do you guys recognize these from way back in the spring? I made myself and my mom both patchwork tote bags. I'll link the tutorial pattern or whatever down below. And they're just like charm squares. And my grandma, she'll be 89 in November. She has dementia. That all happened very early this year. And that's been really hard. It's progressed sort of quickly. And, anyways, she keeps, every week my mom goes to visit her and takes the tote bag that I made my mom for Mother's Day. And every time my grandma looks at it and tells her what a nice bag it is, that could she get her one like that? Where did she get this bag? And then sometimes she remembers that I made it and sometimes she doesn't. But every single week she asks my mom if she can have one of these bags. So I am using the charm squares that were left over from the pack I used for mine and the pack I used for my mom's to make my grandma a tote bag. So pretty excited about that. I would love to get this done. The bag she's currently using is not in great shape, so I would like to get this done as soon as possible, hopefully this weekend. So this morning I have already laid out my charm squares. I can kind of put a picture here of the layout for the front and the back of the bag. I sort of laid those out already and planned that. I have sewn them into strips. And I just need to get my iron heated up and press my seams and then keep on going with this. So I am probably going to do quite a bit of sewing today. And then I just have worked a teensy bit on my embroidery. I don't remember if I had all of my French knots done last time or not, but I did start a couple of the leaves there. Again, I don't really know where my time has gone, and I haven't had much time to work on this. Probably because my knitting has taken priority lately, but that's okay. And I don't know, something about the changing seasons, even though I know we very well may get the temperature may spike again. I know this, and I get it. All right. I understand. But to me, the leaves have begun to change a little bit. And I'm noticing the ones that haven't changed, because it's just a few, but the rest are starting to take on that duller, deeper green, instead of that bright green. And you can just tell the sunlight is hitting differently, all those kinds of things. Autumn is just around the corner. And with those changing seasons, I think I'm learning this about myself. I think I have noticed this about myself in years past, and I've just sort of ignored it a little bit. My making changes. It shifts. I just want to make differently. I want to make all the things. So this year, I think I'm going to try to lean into that. And I'm noticing and I've talked about this before, I really like to embroider when I like it in the evening, and I like it when I have good light. But unfortunately, we are heading into the time of year where I can pick one or the other, but not both. So I don't know if I need to move my embroidery practice to a different time of day. We will reach a point in the winter when the only time I am home is when it is dark. So maybe at that point in the year, the embroidery just goes away and I shift to different making. I'm not really sure. But yeah, I don't know. I haven't been drawn to it quite as much. I'm not sure why. I think that might have something to do with it, though. All right, life update. Like I said, my brother slept over last weekend. I took a long weekend off of work, which I really needed. I just needed a break. August tends to not be my favorite month of the year. It's kind of I feel the way about August that most people feel about January. Just not a fan of the heat and everything, but the temperature was beautiful last weekend. I had a really lovely kind of staying home, just puttering around the house kind of weekend. I baked some pumpkin bread. I have been on a zucchini bake kick lately, just making good food and kind of getting into that shifting seasons. I've been reading. I've been just, I don't know, it was really good to get some much needed rest and a little bit of a break away from work after the summer reading season. I work at a library, if you don't know. So summer is usually our busiest time, but it's been very slow the last few weeks. Go support your public library. Go stop in. Build your fall, to be read list. Go do it. It's fun. I did do that this week too. I sort of walked through the stacks and just chose a few books that, whether I'll get to them or not, because I have a whole stack that needs read because they're like coming due. Whether I get to them or not this fall, I don't know, but it was fun to just walk through and check some things out, for like my fall TBR. And I can't think of anything else significant I've done. Like I said, I'm not really sure where my time has been going. I don't know. I don't know. I've been in the kitchen more. Maybe that's it. Yeah. So that's kind of all I've got. Like I said, this weekend is Labor Day weekend here in the States. I work tomorrow. I don't really get a 3-day weekend. I just get an extra day off on Monday, but that's okay. Don't really have any firm plans. And yeah, I don't know. I'm considering doing some fall vlogs if that's something you guys would be interested in. I'm really feeling the fall. I'm really feeling the cozy. I've been watching a lot of fall YouTube, content creators that are more lifestyle creators doing fall things from years past, just because I'm in that mood and I'm ready for coziness and I'm ready for that season. So I don't know. That's all I've got, friends. I hope that you are if you are a summer person, I hope that you are enjoying soaking up the end of summer. I hope that you are doing all the summer things. If you are like me and you just cannot wait for fall to get here, it's around the corner, friends. It's almost here. Yeah, I don't know. I hope that wherever you are, that you're doing something that brings you joy, whether that be knitting, crafting, sewing, baking, reading, beaching, whatever, in your little corner of paradise. And I will be over here knitting away in my cozy corner of paradise. I'll see you next time, friends. Bye.